Hello, everyone. Welcome to podcast number 79. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Crystal Hubbard, as you can see, and I am here to do an interview with Mr. Alec Peters, the creator of Axanar. We have just returned from San Diego, where we had the premiere, and let's go ahead and get into it and just start picking his brain. So, Alec, how are you doing?
Good. Welcome, guest host. Crystal, 79 episodes, and Crystal has never guest hosted the podcast.
Yes, let's see what I get to ask him. Well, to start off with a softball, how was the premiere?
As you well know, since you were there, I thought it went well. Obviously, it wasn't as well attended as the one for Prelude, which, we had planned for months probably, but it was at a much smaller theater, but it was a great little theater. I thought it was just, it was so cute, and they had like the best snack stand also. So that went well, and everyone was great. We had Jonathan Lane from Fan Film Factor was there. Josh Irwin was doing behind the scenes for us, shooting behind the scenes footage. I flew him in from Arkansas. And Josh Bishop, who's going to be the director of the Axanar documentary, came down with them as well. Ray Myers, and of course Mark Edward Lewis came in. So I thought it went well. We ran it a couple times. Anthony Pascali from TrekMovie.com came down. He and saw it. So that was I thought it was great. I thought it really went well. By the way, I'm going to tell everyone down below, you're going to see the scrolling banner. VIP.axanar.com is the newsletter to get notifications, especially for the big documentary Kickstarter that's going to be launching. And beta.axanar.com is where you can stream and download everything Axanar. So it's Axanar on demand. You'll be able to see Prelude there, The Gathering Storm, the new one, as well as Icarus Maneuver and Daedalus. All are available there, and there'll be more soon. But we're really excited about that because obviously we had a little problem with CBS last week.
We did. I do remember you and I were talking that maybe there was like a 36-hour over under.
Yeah,
They hit the over. So yes, that absolutely did happen. Fortunately, that was something you were prepared for and you were already in the works for, because no matter what, I do remember you saying, everyone who wants to see this, we're going to make sure that they do.
Yeah. So basically, if you go to this is our new website, right? beta.axanar.com. And obviously, if you go there, you can see what's coming along with the new website. But if it's right there on the front page, Lee put all the Axanar on demand right on the front, the homepage. So go there, stream it, click on it, download it onto your computer, share it on your Facebook page, whatever you want to do. It's kind of like open source Axanar.
It does. I will say that the page looks very nice. I was not looking at it as it was being constructed, so I got to see the full thing once it was all done, and makes things so much easier than trying to search through YouTube. I'm so glad everything's in one location.
Yeah, and we're really promoting it heavily, so everyone knows. Just go to our website, and hopefully that'll just increase the ability for us to communicate with our fans.
Yes, absolutely. Now back to the premiere. 2 points I want to say. I want to thank you so much to Digital Jim again for being so organized, being such an easy place to have it was multiple premiere. Like, you were doing multiple showings. You had the theater booked out for several hours. This takes me back to where I was in like a multiplex of stage theaters in New York City, and they had a snack stand and a bar, and everyone kind of walks in not knowing to expect something so professional looking, so comfortable, and so well run, right in the heart of downtown San Diego, where there are no more theaters.
Yeah, I know. And I guess it's a recent build because it wasn't there 10 years ago. By the way, Lee Questenberry the genius behind our new website is in the audience here. We want to give a big shout out to Lee because
Hi, Lee.
he's been working his butt off um, uh, on the new website and doing a great job. You know, I gave some feedback and he tackles it right away. And so we're really excited about the new website. It's not close to being where we want it to be, but it's close. It's really close to being ready for donors to start banging on, because we have at least created a real robust donor perk tracker. So he's got all sorts of ideas on what to do. So we'll have Lee on our podcast next time, maybe.
Yeah, no, that's a really good idea. I know we got enough tech nerds that kind of have questions about everything.
Yeah.
So that always makes it easier when he's the one who's joining us. When it comes to the premiere, I'm trying to think of all the faces and all the people that we got to see that we had not seen in a while, in quite some time, maybe since the last time we were in California, maybe longer than that. So who's the person who was the person you got to see in person that you had gone without actually getting to talk to face for the longest time?
Well, it's probably Martin Horowitz, who's in the audience tonight, and Derek. Those two guys, I mean, we saw them back in probably 2017, and haven't seen them since. So it was 9 years for that we've since we last saw them. Jonathan's come out to Axanar, so we've seen him in the recent, and Ray Myers. So. Yeah, I think it was those two guys were the guys, the diehards that we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, it definitely. I mean, it's a big deal when you realize how many people have supported for this long.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And what's great is once we released the Gathering Storm, all the comments were just effusive and ecstatic. I mean, it was just, people were just, I think it was, and it wasn't just, hey, it's finally out. A lot of people were like, oh my God, I can't believe you guys are still doing this. They were like so excited.
Well, so before it was taken down, you had so many comments underneath the YouTube video, and so many of them were like, I've been waiting so long. A lot of people who had been there from like day one, a lot of people from the first Kickstarter. So that feeling of like, people were ecstatic that no matter how long it had taken, it was up. It was happening. It was moving forward. And they finally had that answer. And so that was an overwhelming number of comments that I remember reading right below the video.
Yeah. And yes, that's true. It's amazing. One of the great stories that came out of last week was, one of our good friends of the program, Norman Lau, who I met way back when. I mean, I'm guessing 2014, maybe I met Norman, and he was in LA with us. And he had, in one of the Kickstarter, the Indiegogo, had donated to have his name on a ship in the film, and so right before we, earlier this year, maybe I contacted I think there were four, maybe five people who paid to have their name on a ship in Axanar, and so I got in touch with two of them because we had basically space to get two names on ships. And so when you see the Daedalus class, the first one is the Andres Lau, and that's Norman's father, and so who passed away. So Norman bought it in honor of his father, and back in 2014, 2015. And so I sent it to him, and I sent him a high-res version of it, and he was so overwhelmed. I mean, he was he's told me flat out he was crying, that it was so awesome that we finally got it done, and we actually delivered what was an honor, in honor of his father. And that made me just that made me happy as could be. I mean, Norman's just such a great guy and was such a great fan of ours. And so for him to, for us to be able to do that for him was really, really awesome. Norman for a while was co-host of the Mission Logs podcast on the Roddenberry Network. And, last year, I guess he had to leave for health reasons. And we're wishing Norman the best because he's such a dear, dear person. So, it was interesting because so many people, I mean, certainly I remember very clearly having a conversation with Jeff Fagan, our DP, in which I said, I expected people to be happy, but I can't believe how over the top the comments are. And it really was. I think that's because we never gave up. It's not just that it's out, but the comments are so much, it's 10 years, right? 11, 12 years since the first Kickstarter for the film.
Yep.
And so it's a long time. And a lot of people a lot of people thought we were dead or weren't following us closely. And then you had all those people like, you're never coming out, Axanar's a scam or whatever.
Of course.
It was just so stupid. I get so aggravated with the idiots. But so in order to deliver, what it is I believe, is that people see not just the episode, but we kind of excite them that we follow through, that we renew their faith in people in general, and that we said we'd do it and we did it, despite CBS being assholes to us and trying to trying to stop us at every turn. And I think that's it. So I think basically what what all of us, you, me, Mark, Jeff, you name it, Dana, Dale, all of us together have done is renewed people's faith in determination and because there's so much negativity in the world. They can look at us and go, wow, Axanar delivered what they said they deliver, and I think that's really important. And so which makes me even more excited now to finish it off, hopefully later this year, maybe the early next year with Crucible, with the final part of the Axanar trilogy, because it will really be, and CBS could take us down off YouTube all they want. I couldn't give a damn. We're going to do it. And the other thing is, look at this. Braden Victoria sent us a $50 super chat. Thank you so much. You honor us with that. Thank you.
Thank you.
So CBS took down The Gathering Storm, claiming copyright violation. Now, we are allowed by the settlement agreement we signed in 2017 with them to make 2 more episodes. We're allowed to, make 2 more 15-minute episodes. And the important point, so that's an affirmative right in the settlement agreement. The other part is the only thing either party can do if you feel the other party has breached the settlement agreement. The only thing you can do is, 1, send them a letter, ask for a cure, a correction, whatever that is. And if the opposite party doesn't do it, you can then take them to arbitration. That's it. Nothing else. CBS violated that settlement agreement, and I will post the emails for the lawyer Mallory Levitt at CBS, who's the head IP attorney, and then the outsource counsel David Grossman at Lobes and Lobes, and you guys can all send them emails and let them know what you think of them breaking the settlement agreement. It's just obnoxious. It's really petty. David Grossman, the lawyer at Lobes and Lobes, is really petty, and he's really, he's basically Javert in what's the name of the play? Les Miserables. He's basically Javert in Les Miserables, and and even he recently sent a cease and desist to Troy Downing, the wonderful gentleman who's building the 1/350th scale USS Ares. And even Troy was like, wow, that guy was really unprofessional. And he really hates you, Alec. And I laughed and I said, well, they're just so petty. They're so bitter that we fought them in the lawsuit. And as Dave Lanyon said, it was expected because we embarrassed them. Axanar embarrasses CBS because we're making better Star Trek than they're making on a fraction of the budget. Now, granted, we don't have fancy sets. We don't have the big budget, but ours is Star Trek is true to Star Trek. And fans note. I mean, that's like the most common comment under the YouTube videos is, this is better than what CBS is doing. Why didn't they hire you guys? Those are the things we hear all the time.
I think that the comments definitely spoke to a lot of people looking for very particular things when it comes to Trek.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a lot of criticism of Kurtzman Trek, and I often say that it's kind of wrong. There's a whole group of people online that want to say, oh, it's woke, it's woke Trek, and that's the problem. But that really isn't the problem. The problem is it's bad writing. Now, sometimes they do get way over their ski tips. I mean, even a flaming liberal like me can say, yeah, they're doing a little too much inclusion there. I mean, now the Klingons got to be gay, and now, yeah, all right. It's enough, guys. Just tell us good stories.
Well, there's a line between accurate demographic representation, and that's including bringing people into the writer's room and having that effort sincerely done. There is a point where there isn't enough sincerity, and there behind the scenes that it doesn't feel like a forced narrative, and so it feels like a two-dimensional presentation of something very real. Yeah. We could cite multiple episodes of the Orville if you want something that feels more recently accurate to representation, and deeply flushed out characters and plots. Sometimes I think a lot of fans feel like in some of the Star Trek that's come out, it doesn't feel as as a step forward.
Yeah, if you look at the Orville, and the Orville had, probably as much inclusion as anything, no one's going to complain about that being woke because the writing is so good, because the quality of the people, that they have on that show, Brandon Braga, and I think Andre Baramis is on it. I'm not sure. They have such quality people. Seth's no fool. He just plundered the old Star Trek call sheets and got a lot of the people that made TNG and Deep Space Nine and Voyager and got them involved. And so that's why it's so successful. And by the way,
when something really is,
go ahead.
Sincere science fiction, nothing feels forced.
Yeah. And by the way, Orville season 4 is in pre-production. That's been confirmed.
Yep.
So we're all excited about that.
Ted Lasso and Orville, we're good.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And
you didn't watch that yet without me, did you?
No, did it come out already?
Ted Lasso came out today.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I know what we're doing.
Now he's going to wrap it up, kids.
So listen, I think we're on the right track, and it's very interesting. I had an interesting chat with Dave Lanyon, our executive producer, who basically him and Goodney Goodness funded Axanar, and we had to talk about the path forward. And it's so interesting that despite the disappointment of it being taken down, he was all about, like, Dave was like, I knew they'd take it down. They're embarrassed. We're kicking their ass. And he was really like, yeah, we're doing right. And so the conversation really centered around how do we continue to make great Star Trek, and if they want to be, if CBS wants, just to be asses to us, okay, well, we're gonna, sooner or later we're gonna get a meeting with Paramount, and I bet Paramount doesn't even know that CBS filed a takedown notice on us. I bet Paramount doesn't, because I don't think Paramount would be happy with what CBS did. They're trying to make nice with fans. CBS are trying to piss fans off. CBS doesn't give a crap about fans. They don't. They couldn't care less, which is part of the problem with Star Trek is that they don't care about the fans. They're always trying to find a new audience, right? Well, how about taking care of your old audience?
Well, maybe it's a matter of too many chefs in the kitchen. Maybe it's a matter of the priorities being instantaneous profit. It's one thing to remember the Star Trek that began to satisfy multiple generations, whether it's the 60s, 80s, and 90s, or continuing through that. Even those shows that turned out to be great took kind of find their footing. And a huge part of the success was that there was enough work put into, nothing was rushed. If you want me to compare the Star Trek,
we're losing Crystal.
Not only finding their footing, and we get to season 3 and it feels a lot better, but also there was a lot of work put into the characters. It wasn't about that instantaneous, like, let's drop the other shoe at the end of episode 1 in the premiere, where you've gotten the full overly narrative story of every single character instantaneously into the big adventures,
Yeah.
As an example, I feel like there's a lot of stuff about the characters we didn't even know by the end of, let's say, Next Generation or Deep Space Nine.
Yeah.
I don't need to know. I just kind of don't always agree with that type of storytelling.
I just had a ban.
Okay.
One of the kids got in, and I just banned him.
Of course.
It's just such.
Listen, they're obsessed with you.
They are obsessed with me. It's. I don't know if it's they've got a homoerotic obsession about me, or if they're just such losers.
Well, I don't think we need to say that.
If they're just such losers, that's okay. I'm going to edit this out of the podcast. They're just such losers, but it's crazy. Like, don't you have something better to do?
We know.
To then come in and talk smack to us. Here we are with a bunch of people. There's 50 people online and 54 people watching right now, and we're just here to celebrate Star Trek. How hard is that? Jen said, "Who can we ping in Skydance to get CBS to heal?" Anyone I've contacted a couple.
One thing to remember, and a lot of people are staying up on the news, there's a lot of things happening. There's a lot of moving parts with all of that right now.
Yeah. So, listen, I think the best thing people can do is write the lawyers. Like, I've given you their emails. I'll try and put their emails up again. And if you know someone who knows someone at Paramount, get the word in there that someone needs to talk to the Axanar team, because they're making great Star Trek. And as I said in one of the recent videos, it's we make great Star Trek because we're fans who understand it, just like you're fans who understand it, right? We all, we love Star Trek like you love Star Trek. We're all fans, and look at Seth MacFarlane. He's a huge Star Trek fan, right? He makes the greatest Star Trek fan film of all time in Orville. So,
well, except for the one other.
As Galaxy Quest, the best TV fan film.
Galaxy Quest.
Yeah.
But yes.
Anyway, so listen, I think fans understand Star Trek, and I think fans want to see good Star Trek stories like we saw for the was 25 years that from TNG through Enterprise. We saw, even Enterprise, which is so maligned. You go back and watch Enterprise, it's pretty good. Ups and downs, like any Star Trek. The first 2 seasons can be rough. I think it really hit its stride in season 3, just like first 2 seasons of Next Generation are unwatchable. They are bad 80s sci-fi, which is kind of redundant. But but season 3 started picking up. Deep Space Nine, the same thing. The first 2 seasons were kind of slow. They had a couple good episodes, but so I think that's a Star Trek thing. It's and it may well just be TV, right? A lot of shows take some time to get their feet under them, and we'll see how Star Trek. We'll see what Paramount does with Star Trek in the future. I think they're really being smart and trying to be careful with it. I know all their eggs are in the basket of this new movie, and they have a lot of faith in their writing team for that. So we'll see how that goes. In the meantime, we're going to keep making Axanar.
At no point have I ever heard you or anyone else involved, well, except for a few that we left back in California, give up. No point have I ever heard. I've never been a part of any conversation like that, I don't think.
What? Like what? I'm sorry.
Full disclosure, I have only heard every 10th word you've said.
Oh yeah, because I think it's because of your phone.
You gave me an Apple computer. I'm fighting with that too.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll carry on the conversation then. So
I've never heard you say you were going to give up, is what I was saying. I've never heard you say anything like that. At no point has that ever come up.
Yeah, at no point was that ever an option.
So there.
Yeah. I remember the time during the lawsuit that when Rob Burnett walked in my office and he couldn't understand my attitude. And he said, "I think you actually enjoy this lawsuit." And I was like, why wouldn't I? I mean, yeah, we're kind of in the fight of our lives here. I mean, I will never be in a fight with 2 major Hollywood studios again. How many people have that? I don't look at it as they're coming after me. Rather, I looked at it as we're in the arena together. And so it's the classic David versus Goliath. And do you want to cower away from that and shirk your responsibility to the fans, or do you want to stand up and fight? And we all, I think, had obviously it fell on my shoulders, but we have such a great team that's persevered, especially here in Atlanta. Once we moved to Atlanta, that's when things started to gel. And that's when we had the
support here was amazing.
Amazing. I mean, the weekend we unloaded the 3 trucks, I think we had 54 people that weekend, 57 people, something like that. It was amazing who came out. And that's when we met Dana, and that's when we met Dale and our stalwarts. And look at both of those guys. Dale's like my right-hand man on anything we do at the studio, and Dana just does everything. He's like the vacuum cleaner that picks up all the jobs that keep falling off the truck. We're just so lucky to have those guys.
There's nothing he can't do.
There's nothing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if he can't,
there's nothing Dean can't do.
Yeah, if there's something Dana can't do, he's going to learn how to do it. I mean, it's that simple. That's how he became the compositor. That's how he became the colorist. He is the most amazing, dedicated person. So So we'll see. I know some people, because I mentioned Enterprise, a couple of people have been talking about Enterprise, and
Mm-hmm.
uh, I will say that the project we're looking at doing after Axanar, it could go one of two ways. We could do more Star Trek, or we may do an independent project. But if we do more Star Trek, the project we're looking at is the Romulan Wars. I know so many people feel like that was just not, that was such a missed opportunity, that season 5 of Enterprise should have been the Romulan Wars, and
Mm-hmm.
and I don't disagree. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so
Agreed.
I would love to. That's something I would love to do, um, and because I actually think it's a real complicated story to do too,
Yeah.
because we supposedly don't see the Romulans. We supposedly are using nuclear warheads. There's stuff in the canon that you're going to have to deal with that it's going to make it difficult.
Yeah.
But and I know there's there's 2 fan filmmakers that have done Romulan War projects, and yeah, I think it's fertile ground, and I think I would love to tackle that and not be an actor in it, and just produce it.
Yep.
And I'll make Crystal a captain. Don't worry, everyone. Um, so there you go. On another note, we have a volunteer day on Saturday. I see Scott Good is in the chat. So everyone, if you're here, Paul Sturm, if you can come on Saturday, if anyone is in the Atlanta area and wants to come on Saturday, I'm going to send out an email, and we're going to do a cleanup at the studio. And Dale and Jim Ross, our gaffer, who's been subleasing some space from us at the studio. We've all been slowly trying to clean that place up, because we're probably going to be out of there by the end of the year. Josh Irwin is going to do his Avalon Universe Axanar crossover with Crystal in the lead. We hope to shoot some more bridge scenes to drop into episode 5. And I know the team over at Warp 9 Productions that's doing the Battle for Axanar documentary, they want to shoot, obviously, the interviews and shoot a bunch of behind-the-scenes footage for their documentary. So there's a lot happening, but once we're done, boom, we're striking the set and we're moving. And we're actually talking to 2 different entities, I'll just say. I'm not going to say who it is, about taking the bridge set. When we were out at the premiere, we had a conversation with one who has a studio space in California. And then through some mutual friends, we were talking to another about their space as well. So we would like to we would like to move the set to someone else to take care of it, as Dana says, the care and feeding of the USS Ares bridge set. Because enough, this is it. This is the last year for me shooting that. What if we do Enterprise? Enterprise, meaning if we do the Romulan War, it will all be green screen. Or if we build sets, which is possible, they'll just be they'll be temporary sets. They won't need to be a full bridge set like we have here. And I tell you, today I was cutting some video today, and I was cutting Prelude, and I switched from cutting Prelude to cutting The Gathering Storm. And like I get to The Gathering Storm, and my first edit is Ferran Tahir as Rabao. And I'm just looking at it going, oh my God, this is gorgeous. I'm like, this shot is stunning.
Ferran would love to hear that.
Oh my God, it was just it's amazing. He looks great. And then I'm cutting Tony Amendola, and of course he looks amazing, which is a combination. Yeah. I think it's one. I gave him Core, the Dahar Master from Deep Space Nine. I gave him his costume, which I own, and we spruced it up a little. But I gave him his costume, which is these beautiful earth tones, browns, and it's orange ostrich skin and all this beautiful stuff. And then he's got that great wig on and the the Klingon makeup, and he looks amazing. And then Dana took that, and the background he put Tony on was just so complimentary and striking in its own that he looks unbelievable. He looks so good. So
Yeah.
you look at Gathering Storm, and we really, I think visually, we really hit it out of the park. And I will address the one criticism. I've heard one criticism a number of times from people. Do you know what it is?
I do, and that was an interesting way for a lot of people to reveal they don't know a lot about
TOS.
Original Star Trek. Yeah.
People complained about Pat Tallman's blonde wig, and my attitude is always, have you seen TOS? Did you see what Janice Moran was wearing?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
because when it came out on set, when it was being done, and you could tell instantaneously the people on set who were like diehard TOS fans.
Yeah.
They were like,
that's right.
Oh, that's it. Like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know what that is. And so it's a very severe nod. It was absolutely a choice, but yeah, it's one of those, if you know, you know.
Yeah, I think so.
And listen, Pat Tallman, we could have put her in a potato sack and she still would have looked fine.
Yeah. Yeah. And listen, when Kate Vernon was doing that role, well, she had big blonde hair. So it worked.
Yeah. We just used her. Yep.
We just had a real top-notch Hollywood hairdresser who spent like 3 hours doing her hair. And she was all like, I kept joking with Kate. I said, well, you're ready for Mad Men now. Can you get an audition? I mean, you don't have to do anything but change your clothes.
Yeah.
And I think Pat did a great job bringing her own take to that role. She really changed that role a little, and in a way that was honoring the character, right? I mean, that's kind of, whether she was cocky or whether she was, sarcastic or whether she was mischievous. That's all kind of Sonya wrapped up, so she just leaned into a different corner of that character's personality. But I think she did great. I'm so happy we had her. Plus, she's awesome, and she's going to come have dinner with us during my birthday at Ted's, and during Dragon Con. So if any of you are at Dragon Con, let me know. We'll tip one back on my birthday. But did you have fun at the premiere?
I had a great time. A little confession: I never set foot in that theater.
I noticed.
I never had a chance, because there were people that had driven all that way, and they had come to kind of volunteer and kind of like help with checking people in and making sure everyone answered questions. And I'm like, you go. I'll sit at the computer. I'll sit at the desk and I'll do that. So it wasn't on purpose. It was just one of those, there were other things that needed to be done. And it was also so easy for me to kind of get wrapped up into conversations in the lobby, again, with people I had not seen in quite some time. Right. So, I actually never got to see the theater or the inside of it. But I will confess that the best part for me was happening in the lobby. That's just me, because I got the opportunity to like see everyone and catch up, and the snack stand was great.
And you were taking Pee-wee, our dog.
Yeah, that was the other thing we had. We had Pee-wee. We had our Chihuahua. Kind of trying to give him, he's a senior, he's old, he does travel well. I think this was probably the last time he'll be able to do something like this. It's a lot for an old dog to plane ride that, but he loved the hotel. He loved the attention.
Yeah, he's a hotel diva.
yeah, hated the beach. So that was a
Yeah,
bust. But for our conscious, we did it. So yes, for me, the premiere wasn't just that it was showing on a screen in the theater. For me, it was the entire weekend. It was the entire experience. So yeah, obviously, I'm just ecstatic that it's over because I loved it and I have all those new memories now. And now I can just kind of sit back and just kind of go, oh, that was great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep.
We had a good time. We stayed at last 2 nights. We stayed at the Hilton Bayside, Bayfront, Hilton Bayfront, I think it was.
Yeah.
Which is the big hotel that they built on the south side of the convention center, where I guess a lot of the convention activities happen these days. It was interesting. Someone asked me how crowded the convention was because we had one badge that we had gotten from a friend, and
leave it there. Shush. You need to shush. God.
No, I was just going to say I went in for like an hour and a half on the floor.
Yeah.
Crystal didn't want to go, so she stayed outside.
I stayed with the dog. I did. I sat on the beach and I said, yeah.
I kept sending Crystal photos and reporting from the floor, and saying, oh, there's this here and this is here, and I got her a print of our favorite artist, Craig Drake. Who did a K-pop Demon Hunters print. If you know who Nagel is from the 80s, Craig Drake does Nagel style pop culture stuff. Just superheroes and science fiction and stuff. And he's amazing. He's absolutely amazing. So you can just check his stuff out online. You'll love it. He's really good. So I know people have asked me about when's Crucible coming out. Crucible is the third part of the Axanar trilogy: Prelude to Axanar, The Gathering Storm, and Crucible. And Crucible will obviously be the battle itself, because we leave you on another cliffhanger in this episode, in The Gathering Storm. In Prelude to Axanar, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which, of course, if you know, The Gathering Storm is the title that Winston Churchill gave one of his books that was about the lead up to World War II. And so Dana started working on the compositing, and fortunately this time we're going to have a much faster workflow, because first of all, the backgrounds are all done.
Yep.
So that saves time. Now, he's not creating backgrounds. The only new actor we have in episode 2, in the Crucible, I should say, only new actor on green screen is Raj Kala, Commodore Singh, who just delivers a wonderful performance. And so he's going to go on the bridge set, on the space station set. So he doesn't have to do a new background for him. But Dana's going to start cranking away on the compositing. Mark Edward Lewis is already working on the visual effects with our visual effects team overseas. So we're really excited about all of that. And I think we won't have the issues around coloring. I mean, we lost 2 months in the coloring process.
Color correction, yeah.
Oh, that's not going to happen because Dana's doing it. So Dana's going to be working on it while he's compositing, right?
Yeah.
He's got so much going for him there.
Well, I think as you've stated, because of everything that happened with Gathering Storm, I think that you have pointed out that means that all of those little bumps in the road, you guys have plowed the road since then. Like,
yes, absolutely. We said, and there's new things, new policies we've set down as far as how post-production has to be handled and what we can and can't do. I mean, there's a lot of learning
curve
in this
huge
process.
learning curve. Yeah.
For everyone. And fortunately, Jeff Fagan has just been Jeff Fagan has been our Yoda in this whole thing. He's the youngest guy in the group, but he certainly has a great deal of wisdom and he is really. It's so funny because he became the guy that if something was going wrong, I would call Jeff. If Dana was having a problem, he would call Jeff, and
Yeah.
and it wound up like, because Mark was editing, but most of the actual post-production work outside of editing that wasn't sound or music was falling on Dana, and Jeff had a lot of insight into that, which was wonderful. And so the other, the other thing was Dana works really well with Jeff. So that made my life easier, because if Dana was struggling, he could talk to Jeff as a resource. And there were some things that Jeff didn't have hands-on experience with, but because he's so well tapped into that whole industry, that he knew the answers and to things. And some things, some things we had to do a little research on. I say Dana. But he's so fast. He picks things up so fast. It's really amazing. At one point, he said, "I'm going back to redo Moreau," which is Tony Amendola's character, because he was the first person he composited. And at the end, he says, "I'm going back to redo him." I go, "Redo him? It looks amazing. What are you going to redo?" And he goes, No, it's not good enough." And so he went back and did them. So Catherine McClary, you're coming late, is asking why the Gathering Storm was taken down. And we covered that earlier, but I'll cover it again for you. And that is, they took it down basically because they're, well, I can say it because I'm going to edit this out of they're basically assholes. And they took it down just to be pricks to us. And so it's up. So right now, everyone, you'll see vip.axanar.com is our newsletter. So make sure you sign up for that. Beta.axanar.com is our new website. Obviously, it's in beta. That's why it's beta.axanar.com.
Yeah.
So just enter beta.axanar.com. Go there, and you'll be able to watch all our episodes. It's all right there on the homepage. It's Axanar on demand. Okay. So there you go. So if you have any questions, you send me an email, alec@axanar.com. So there you go. So I don't know, any other questions before we wrap this up?
Yeah. Anything else that's come up in the say? No, I think we covered a lot. I think you were able to give people the updates you wanted to. Again, everything is, the most pressing questions are, where can people watch it? You've addressed why it did take a minute. Yep, absolutely. We've addressed that. And people are just going to have questions about the Crucible and how that's coming along. And as I expect, you're going to tell people how they can stay up to date on all of the updates and everything that's coming with the Crucible down the road.
Yeah, so everyone stay tuned. We continue to work hard on YouTube. We'll be putting out more videos here on YouTube, doing more podcasts, doing more live streams. So just stay tuned here, and you'll get all the news that's fit to print.
Yep.
So, all right, Crystal. Well, thanks so much for hosting tonight. We greatly appreciate it.
For joining you tonight. Yes.
And as always, my friends, live long and prosper.
Thank you, everyone.